Warsaw, 1942. Blueprints of survival. Warsaw, summer, 1942. The city hums under occupation. German trucks grind through cobblestone streets, the smell of diesel and fear hanging in the air. Posters scream, verboten, and Jews to the ghetto. The sound of boots never stops. In a narrow apartment above a shuttered print shop, an engineer named Henryk Sławik bends over a drafting table. Once he designed bridges for the Polish railways, now he designs something far more fragile: forged lives. He works by candlelight, the flame quivering, as he sketches a new layout for an identification card. His pencil moves with the confidence of a man who knows dimensions, spacing, fonts. Every millimeter must be perfect. The Gestapo can smell a fake from across the room. On the table lie two examples: one authentic German labor permit, confiscated at risk, and one of his copies. Side by side, they are indistinguishable. He examines them under the lamp, tracing the eagle insignia with a magnifying glass. The ink tones match exactly. He exhales. Good. One more life, bought another day. Below him, the printing press rumbles softly, operated by Janina Schwartz, a young typesetter who once made theater posters. Now she prints destiny in Gothic script. Together, they form a tiny cell of resistance, engineers of paperwork, architects of deception. Outside, curfew bells toll. Henryk rolls the shutters closed and whispers to Janina, "Tomorrow, we try the Hungarian batch." She nods, wiping ink from her fingers. "You think they'll pass inspection?" "If the measurements hold," he murmurs, "they'll fool God himself." He isn't exaggerating. The Germans have centralized every document: work permits, travel passes, baptismal certificates. Any inconsistency means transport to the camps. Henryk's solution is audacious. He will redesign the entire document system from the inside out, embedding false serial codes that cross-reference correctly within German archives. A fake that survives database checks, an impossible design. Each night, he studies captured paperwork, memorizing how stamps overlap text, how seals press through fibers. He experiments with paper soaked in diluted coffee to mimic government stock. When a Gestapo officer's signature style changes, he redraws it within hours. The risk is unthinkable. One inspection, one slip, and everyone in the building dies. But Henryk has already decided, better to die engineering truth inside lies than live engineering bridges for tyrants. In his pocket, he keeps a list of names written in tiny mechanical script: Rosenfeld, Kohn, Adler, Lewin. Next to each name is a new one: Christian and unassuming: Nowak, Grabowski, Kowalczyk. A double ledger of salvation. By autumn 1942, his designs begin circulating across occupied Poland. Men and women once marked for deportation walk freely through checkpoints, presenting flawless papers that bear his invisible signature. To the Germans, they are laborers. To Henryk, they are victories measured in breaths. One night, as air raid sirens wail over Warsaw, Henryk stands by the window, watching tracers cross the sky. He wonders how many of his forged identities are hiding somewhere beneath those same lights, alive because of the lines he drew on paper. The Forgery Factory, winter 1943. The print shop has become a hidden factory of illusion. Under the floorboards, wooden cases store blank forms and counterfeit seals. The smell of ink and solvent fills the air, masking the odor of fear. Henryk's small team expands: artists, typists, even a German clerk sympathetic to the cause. They call themselves the Office. To outsiders, it appears to be a municipal engineering bureau producing blueprints for bridges. Inside, it's producing blueprints for survival. Each forged document requires choreography. One worker cuts paper to exact Reich dimensions. Another embosses seals using a press Henryk built from bicycle parts. Every mark, every number, every curve of the eagle emblem must align perfectly. He designs a numbering system that matches the German registry's logic. Every code corresponds to a real office, a real batch. The system is so precise that even Gestapo verification officers sign off without suspicion. It's mathematical camouflage. Sometimes the rescued arrive at night, exhausted families clutching the last things they own. They wait in silence while Henryk copies their details onto fresh forms, his hands steady. He stamps each one with crimson wax, presses the seal, and hands it over with quiet finality. "You are workers now," he says, "Christians from Kraków. You'll report to the south tomorrow." They nod, not understanding how many nights of calculation went into that single piece of paper. But even miracles require routine. Every few weeks, German inspectors visit the office. Henryk greets them in perfect German, shows bridge sketches pinned over the true blueprints, smiles politely as they admire his efficiency. Once, an officer picks up a forged permit lying on the desk. Henryk's pulse freezes. The officer frowns, studying the watermark, then laughs. "You Poles finally learned proper typography." He sets it down and leaves. After the door closes, Janina collapses into a chair, shaking. Henryk simply returns to work, jaw tight. "Perfection," he mutters, "is the only armor we have." That winter, rumors spread, transports increasing, ghettos emptying, the East swallowing people whole. Henryk never asks what happens to those caught with real Jewish papers. He already knows. The gas chambers of Treblinka and Auschwitz are whispered like curses, so he prints faster. Within months, hundreds carry his creations. Entire families slip through the German system disguised as mechanics, teachers, and field hands. His seals, exact copies of district offices, travel hundreds of kilometers, stamped into passports that declare their holders Aryan by work classification. Then one night, a courier arrives, breathless. "They've changed the official stamps," he warns. "New eagle crest. Thicker border." Henryk doesn't panic. He studies the new design under magnification. The difference is microscopic. Within 2 hours, he adjusts his engraving plate by 0.5 millimeter. The next morning, the forgeries are perfect again. Janina shakes her head. "You're redesigning the Reich itself." He smiles faintly. "That's the idea." Outside, snow falls over a city half in ruins. Inside the workshop, the machines keep running, turning ink and paper into weapons stronger than bullets. The engineer's signature, spring 1944. The German front is collapsing, and the Gestapo grows paranoid. They raid offices daily, desperate to expose resistance networks. Henryk knows time is running out. When a shipment of forged labor permits destined for Hungary disappears, he realizes someone has betrayed them. Days later, agents arrive, boots on stairs, fists on doors. Henryk gathers the last stack of documents, 24 new identities, and presses them into Janina's hands. "Go," he says. "Deliver these to the convent. The sisters will hide you." "What about you?" He smiles thinly. An engineer stays with his designs. They drag him from the shop at dawn. He's interrogated for hours under bare bulbs, accused of espionage and forgery. The officer slams a forged permit on the table. "Who taught you to copy our seals?" Henryk looks up, eyes calm. "You did," he replies. You publish the measurements. They beat him. He doesn't speak. When they finally sentence him to execution, he asks for one request, to hold a pencil. The officer, amused, allows it. Henryk sketches the Reich eagle on the wall, in perfect proportion. Even perfection can lie, he says quietly. On July 3rd, 1944, he is shot in Płaszów camp. The soldiers who bury him don't know that under his shirt, sewn into the lining, is a tiny metal stamp, his personal seal, the master key to hundreds of lives. After liberation, Janina returns to the ruins of the print shop. Among the ashes, she finds that same seal fused to a piece of melted glass. Around it are charred fragments of paper, the last drafts of his forgeries. She gathers them carefully, wraps them in cloth, and carries them to the new authorities documenting the resistance. Investigators count at least 350 confirmed survivors traced to Sławik's papers, each bearing serial codes that still match the German archives. Historians will later call it bureaucratic warfare, a rebellion fought not with guns, but with geometry. Today, one of those original forged permits lies in a museum in Warsaw. The ink has faded, the paper yellowed, but the seal, his seal, is clear and sharp. Visitors often lean close to read the name printed at the bottom. It is not Henryk Sławik. He never signed his real name. Instead, in tiny engineer's script, hidden within the border pattern, are three letters, HSZ, his secret signature woven into every forgery. To the Germans, it was meaningless ornamentation. To those who lived, it was proof that someone, somewhere, was still designing freedom.